Hello world, welcome back to another episode of ThirdEyeCyphs. My name is Natalia, I am your host of this podcast, and this is a podcast, like I said, what do we talk about on this podcast? Well, if you didn't read the description of the podcast, I'll tell you personally what this podcast is about. This podcast, we discuss things of the spiritual nature. Well, everything's the spiritual nature, but that's mainly what we talk about. How everything is the spiritual nature. Spiritual nature generally, or spiritual nature generally. I don't know what that means. Sorry guys, my alarm is going off because it's early morning and my phone doesn't know I'm awake yet. So yes, this is a podcast where we mostly talk about how to attain, I don't want to say that. How to attain our greatest versions. That I can say. Definitely. And what I feel our greatest version is the acknowledgement of our truest self, our truest nature, knowing that our truest nature is one with the divine, one with source, creation, the universe, God. This is the act of self-realization, I believe. And we also discuss topics on personal development, spiritual growth, esoteric knowledge, conspiracy theories, law of attraction, manifestation, anything and everything spiritual in and out of this world. A bunch of other stuff to make you realize your freaking truest potential, people. So, welcome. This is a podcast, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy ThirdEyeCyphs.
ThirdEyeCyphs. ThirdEyeCyphs.
Also, just a quick shout out to Anchor for sponsoring this video. It's a podcast platform that you can record, edit on your phone or computer, and it's for free. They distribute it everywhere like Apple, Spotify, Google, a whole bunch of podcast platforms, and you can make money from it with like a very low minimum amount of listeners. So like one person can be listening and you'll still be making money, which is pretty awesome. It's literally everything you need in one spot to make a perfect podcast, to speak your truth, to kind of get your message out there. So I would highly suggest it. You can find it in your app store, so I would say check it out, guys. All right. Yes, that is right. We are back with another episode, and it's season 4, guys. It's season 4. I will have more energy by midway of this episode towards the end, but you gotta bear with me. I just woke up at 5:26 because my alarm was set for 5, and my bed was so comfy that I laid back down, and then I leaped up because I knew I had to do the podcast. I like literally flipped out of bed. Like I was just sleeping. I wasn't even sleeping. I think I was just not that conscious, laying in bed, comfortable, and then something just sparked within me and said, you gotta do the podcast. And I literally jumped out of bed, jumped to force myself to wake up, like, and I like, you should have seen it. You had to be there. It was a had to be there moment. But anyways, it is now 6:02. I had to set up everything. I was trying to get our audience sound before the episode, but I was supposed to do that midweek. I didn't think of it. Well, actually, I think I did. No, I didn't think of it because I feel like I would have done it if I would have done it if I would have thought of it. But I didn't, guys. I thought of it this morning, and I thought maybe I can get it before the episode, and it just wasn't happening. That's kind of a little process thing. So that took up a little bit of the time. And then another thing that took up a little bit of the time is I tried pulling a card for you guys, because you know how we do our little weekly card readings. I tried pulling a card, and stubborn me did not like the card, so I put it back. I don't even remember what it was. And then I went to my altar because I felt like I wasn't too grounded or focused into the card reading. So I went to my altar, sat down, and tried again, and I pulled another card I didn't like, and then I pulled another card I didn't like. And when I say I didn't like it, it's not up to me. It's not up to me to like it, but that's the point. And that's why I'm stubborn, and I probably, you know, I wasn't worthy of these cards. I'm not worthy of these cards. I just put them back. I'm like, nope, tell me something I want to hear. Literally. Because all the cards were in reverse, guys. I literally went to my altar and I did a 3-card pull, and all of the cards were in reverse. And the first card that was in reverse was Door to Spirit. So, meaning lack of connection to the spiritual world. That was loud. Lack of connection to the spiritual world, mainly due to probably self-limiting beliefs. And then the second one was heartbreak reverse, which means you're probably recovering from a heartbreak. And finally seeing like the opposite side of the spectrum. And then the third one was the deceit card in reverse, which we're going to be talking about, just because I was like, you know what is up with all these reverse cards? I put them back, and then I pulled from my training tarot deck, which I never have done on this episode, on this podcast before. Not this episode, obviously not on this episode. Which is great, because we're going to use that card, and it's the beginning of season 4. I'm using a new deck, and it's my training tarot deck. It's not like an official tarot deck. I mean, it is, but the cards are meant to study tarot, but I've been using them as regular tarot just so I can study them, because they work equally as the same. So I pulled from the training tarot deck, and I got, what is it called? See, this is why I'm training. I'm like, what is it called? The 7 of Swords, which has to do with trickery, deception, betrayal, and sneaking around. And then it reminded me of the deceit card that I had just seen in the previous deck. So I was like, okay, there's some deceit going on here. So I think we're going to be talking about that. And I also pulled from my little blessing cards deck, which I've never pulled on this podcast before. And basically what they are little tiny cards. There's over 200 of them, and they have a focus word. So this word could pertain to something that's happening recently, either energetically or personally, and it's kind of like a focus point to say, okay, this is what's happening in the moment, or this is what you need to focus on. So I pulled one of those, and yeah, we're gonna be talking a little bit about that deceit card, and then the tarot, the Ace of Swords, I mean not Ace of Swords, 7 of Swords, my apologies, and this little blessing card focus point thing. But first and foremost, I just want to say thank you so much. I don't like this this playlist, I'm sorry, but hold on, before I get into my little thank you speech, I mean, this song is cool, I guess. Let's see, what about this? Oh, yes, duh. Okay, let's see how this one does. Okay. We're getting into it. We're getting focused, guys. We're getting focused. Time to focus. Okay, I'm sorry. You guys must get annoyed with me sometimes. Okay, so I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here with me in this present moment. We are going on. We are at, actually, what are we at? 2 years now? 2 years? Yeah, we're at 2 years now, because it's like 2 seasons per year, really. And yeah, we're at season 4, guys. Is that believable? Are we at season 4? Is that true? Is this a true fact? This is a true fact. We're at season 4. Can you believe that? Can you believe that we're at season 4? I can't. I can, but I can't. I can't believe we've been doing this for 2 years now. That's kind of unbelievable to me. If you guys listen back to the first episode of this podcast, I didn't know what I was gonna do with this podcast, honestly. Why isn't my thing? Oh, it is moving. Sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know what I was gonna talk about on this podcast. I didn't know people were gonna listen to this podcast. And I didn't know I was gonna do it for this long. I originally started this to talk about, I guess to talk about the things that we're talking about. I didn't really think I would go into lessons and things like that, like picking a topic and then I teach you about it. I didn't think I was gonna do that. Maybe I did. I just knew I wanted to talk about spiritual topics, my journey, and things that I wish I knew earlier on my path. So I think it was more to inform people on the spiritual path. And yeah, I ended up getting a lot of people who were starting on their path. I mentioned this a lot. So I had to kind of restructure the things that I was talking about more into teaching and helping you guys learn about these things. And here we are, 2 years in, and it's been a great ride. It's been a great journey so far, learning about you guys, meeting some of you, not in person. I have not met any of you in person yet, but the fact that you guys reach out to me and you ask me questions and you appear out of nowhere, like I'll get a DM request because I don't follow you, you don't follow me or something like that, and it'll be you saying like, hey, I listened to your podcast, or I found your podcast and I just want to say thank you, or like I have a question, and that's the most amazing thing to me. So keep doing that. I love it so much. It makes my life worthwhile. But yes, it's been great being able to share my journey with people, and people are actually interested in my journey. That's the thing. I felt like a few years ago, well, no, actually like a good, I don't want to say a handful of years ago, but probably a handful of years ago, maybe about, because I've been living in California for 4 years now, and I think about between 4 to 5 years ago, this path and journey was pretty lonely for me. And I don't want to say lonely, but kind of, because I wasn't able to share it with anybody who would understand. Like, if you guys know a little bit about my history, I moved around a lot. I did not form long-lasting friendships with really anybody. I have maybe like 2 to 3 people. I can't even think of 2 to 3 people. I could think about my sister, obviously, because she's my sister, but she's my stepsister, so that's why I count her as that person. Obviously, if she was my real sister, then I would know her my whole life. But friendship-wise, like, I have friends that I knew from the past, and then was like, oh, hi, how have you been, blah, 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 but I don't talk to them regularly. Like, I don't have any best friends or anything like that. So, and then especially on this path, and then even so, if there are people that I meet that are on the spiritual path, they're not, I don't want to say at the level that I'm at, but, like, not to say that I'm at a higher level, but I'm at a different point on the path. So I would have friends that were on the spiritual path that they can teach me things and that I can teach them things. But that was very rare. Somebody taught me things. That was more in the beginning of my journey when I was first introduced to all of this new agey stuff. I was aware of spiritual practices beforehand, but I think this particular path, I only knew probably like 2 people. I knew 2 people who could teach me things, and I wasn't friends with them very long, so those moments didn't last too long. And then I did have a friend who was at the same level as me, like at the same point on the path as me. And me and her would just go back and forth, like talking, teaching each other things that we learned, and just like having really good discussions. And then I also had somebody who was not on the spiritual path, but I think I may have introduced them to ideas of the spiritual path. So I was mostly teaching them, which was really nice. And then that kind of came to a halt for years, I would say. That was basically the end of high school. Those are my friends in high school. And then once I graduated high school, I literally did not hang out with any of these people at all. And then, yeah, I came out here and didn't have anybody here to talk to about it because I didn't know anybody here. And then I found my lovely boyfriend, who is the spark to my life. And he just completed that for me. He's not, I don't want to say because he's not at the same level as me. Like, we are not at the same point on our spiritual path, but he teaches me things, I teach him things, I learn from him, he learns from me. We bounce back and forth from each other. So, like, to that extent, yes, we are at the same, I think we are at the same points on our path, but we're on two different paths. Well, obviously, everybody's on their own path, but he's a well-rounded person to satisfy those things for me. But of course, so has been the podcast, because I can just teach on the podcast things that I've experienced, things that I've learned from these ancient teachings and spiritual philosophies, and it's nice. It's nice. But not only do I teach, I get to share my journey and the things that I've experienced with you guys. And it's not just my boyfriend, because he's like the only person that I tell all this stuff to. And you guys are sitting there with open ears, just ready to receive. And I'm so grateful for you. And by saying that, I just want to say, always do your own research. Look into things yourself. If a topic or something that I say interests you, do more digging yourself, because it will lead to success. So yes, that's all I wanted to say, really. Well, to start off with is thank you for being here this long with me. This podcast has come so far. Look at us. We got I just have the biggest CPU spike, or whatever the heck you want to call it. I don't know how that sounded. Like, literally when I pressed the button, the computer was like, no, this is too much, and then it stopped recording. So I just tried to re-record it. That probably sounded crazy. I don't know. We'll see. We'll go back to it and see how that sounded. I wonder why. I think maybe it's because of music? I don't know. Where's my little performance monitor? See, we've come so far on this podcast, but the freaking laptop has not come that far. If anything, it's kind of regressed, if I may say so myself. But that's also something we're working on, guys. We're working on getting some new technology so that we can run this podcast better. I think we'd all be happy with that. I haven't seen my cat all morning, but that's okay. Okay, so with that being said, yes, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me and supporting the podcast. If you guys enjoy this podcast, if you listen regularly and you want to support this podcast, please leave a rating in your app store or wherever you listen to this podcast at. If you are on iPhone, the Apple Store or Apple Podcasts, if you leave a review on there, apparently it's super good for podcasts, so please do that. I would greatly appreciate it. It helps bring notice to the podcast, I guess, like, so that they could advertise, like, hey, people like this podcast, and then we can share this information, guys, because the things that I say on here, like, I feel like people need to freaking know, and obviously the more people that listen to it, the more hate it's gonna get, but that comes with anything. Like, really, like, freaking a YouTube channel could be about anything. It could be about, like, doing makeup tutorials, and, like, I couldn't even be talking-ish, and you'll still get hate anyways, so there's nothing I can do about that, but it will reach the ears it needs to. And that's the main point, guys. That's the main point. So that we can wake the freaking people up, and then even the people who think that they're awake, I need to show them that they're actually not awake and they need to actually wake up. So, if you want to if you want to be a part of that process and waking up the masses, please leave a review on this podcast. And yes, feel free to DM me anytime, guys. My Instagram is Natalia of Earth, Natalia of Earth, this planet Earth. You can send me an email if you'd like. My email is natalialee@thewritingsofnatalia.com. And if you truly want to support me, please follow my brand page. I guess that's what I'll be calling it, because I think people get a better understanding of what it is. The Writings of Natalia is my brand, my personal brand, and it is a brand created to help you awake to your truest nature through my writing, through my art, through the things that I'm going to be selling. I'm going to be selling some cool ass stuff, guys, so you better follow that Instagram and check out my website. TheWritingsOfNatalia.com is a freaking wonderland at the moment. I'm always adding things to it. You can get free ebooks on there. You can, what else can you do? You can find like a bunch of random stuff, a bunch of random photos, videos, and read my blog posts. You can find my ebooks on there, everything that I've published. My Amazon books are on there. Our monthly card readings are on there. If you want a video with a monthly card reading to focus on the month, that is on there. So June is up there right now. We're going to be hitting July soon, so July will be up there soon. And then you can also book sessions with me there, guys. So I can do personal card readings for you, and we could also do a coaching program. So it could be either long-term or it could be one session. We could do one session, we could talk about things that you want to, or we can kind of set up a coaching plan or treatment plan for you. And that's where we talk regularly through appointments, and I give you practices, I give you techniques, advice according to certain things that are happening to you or things that you want to improve either on your spiritual path or just your personal growth path. So that is all available on there. And yeah, just by surfing around my website and liking the posts and commenting, that super duper helps me know that what I'm doing is what I'm supposed to be doing. I mean, I know what I'm doing is what I'm supposed to be doing, but I like getting your support, guys. So, anyways, this podcast is celebrating season 4. We're two years in, 4 seasons in, and I'm so excited. But let's talk about this card, the card that I pulled for us. So I kept getting deceit cards. Let's go with the Energy Oracle card deck first, the one that I kept putting back. I remember the Reverse Heartbreak and Door to Spirit, but this theme of deceit has come up, and I think we need to focus on this. So the Deceit card represents hidden tactics or manipulation. Now, this card I actually got in reverse, so it doesn't mean that someone is deceiving you, but that you have evaded deceit somehow. So somebody could have been deceiving you, and that situation is over now, or you could have been deceiving yourself, and that period is over. So you are now ready to see the abiding truth of your own value, power, and deserving. It may take continued effort, but your honesty with yourself regarding these truths will bring even greater value into your life. So be assured that the negative and dishonest energy is on its way out, and take advantage of new, peaceful, and open environment where you will be able to forge more success in greater comfort. So that's what the Reverse Deceit card says. Now, the tarot card that I pulled was the 7 of Swords. This is in the Minor Arcana. And the 7 of Swords represents trickery, deception, betrayal, and sneaking around. The 7 of Swords shows a figure slinking away from a military base with 5 swords in hand, leaving 2 behind. They look over their shoulder and appear proud of the fact that they've been able to slip away unnoticed. So, It says you've been sneaking around and you think you've gotten away with it. One misstep and you're going to be caught. Is it really worth it? The upright Seven of Swords may also be indicating that you need to prioritize. Find shortcuts to get through responsibilities efficiently to get more off your plate so you can focus on the bigger picture. So, I think this is a big representation of self-deceit. You may have been deceiving yourself. Somebody may have been deceiving you, but I think it's more of you've been deceiving yourself. And this could be with anything. You could be telling yourself a certain story that is not true, and it could be limiting you from things that you need to do or the person that you're actually meant to freaking be. So it says you're sneaking around and you think you've gotten away with it. And you could have been self-deceiving yourself this whole time. Being self-deceptive. There you go. I know there's something there. And the element of this card is the air element, and the sign is Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini. So air is very fluttery, kind of everywhere. And it also says you need to prioritize, find shortcuts to get through responsibilities efficiently. So this could also be true too, but with the reverse deceit card that we got, I think it's more of self-deceit and you moving away from it. So you may have been self-deceiving recently, but it's all over now, baby. And the little card that I pulled, the blessing card that I pulled with the focus word is strength. Now, these cards, they have different colors within them, and some of them have rainbow colors, like all of the colors. And this one has all of the colors, which it doesn't say in this deck. What the heck? It says there's an instruction booklet. Where? I don't see an instruction booklet. Was there? I don't think so. It says it came with an instruction booklet. I don't know where the instruction booklet may be, but it doesn't, on the box, it doesn't say anything about the colors, but some of them are green, some of them are purple. I think they have to do maybe like, I don't want to say with the chakras, but like the association that the chakras have with their colors, it may be the same. So this one has all of the colors, which I believe means well-roundedness. Like, okay, it's kind of like all the elements of everything are in here. So strength has all of the elements within it, all of the color elements, I guess you could say. And it's well-roundedness. So strength takes a lot of well-roundedness. So I think we can use this strength. This is the focus card for the week. And just remember that strength, guys. If anything happens within the following week until next week's episode, just remember strength. That is the focus word. This is the universe saying strength. Strength is universal. Strength is there for you. It's up for grabs. It's there. It's in the universal field for you to use and take advantage of and be and embody. And my computer keeps doing its little CPU spikes, and we got cut off again. So if you heard a little change in music or something, then that's what it was. But if not, completely ignore everything that I just said. And hopefully it stops freaking doing that. Some episodes is good. Like, we get through the episode fine, and then other times it's just like, no, we're not doing it, guys. We're not. That's what it's saying. That's not what I'm saying. So, yes, anyways, just remember that. Remember to stop self-deceiving yourself and self-deceiving yourself. And you are strong. You are strong because strength exists and you are everything. So if strength exists and you are everything, then you are strength. So that was it. I might have gone on a tangent for a little bit about something else, but I can't even remember what it was before I had to fix this thing. Okay, either way, I hope that gives you some sort of focus for next week, and if not, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. No, I'm joking. Yeah, I don't know. The card reading was pretty weird this morning. I didn't know if it was me, but I think that there's a lot of strong... there was a freaking full moon last night, guys. I'm pretty sure it's still a little full right now. But the energy is odd. Is weird. Not that it's odd or weird, but it's pretty hectic because it's just so strong. And you want to know what else, guys? Tomorrow's my birthday, okay? Tomorrow's my birthday. And today is June 25th. Tomorrow's June 26th, the day I was born 23 years ago. I will be 23 tomorrow at 10:55 p.m. If you guys want to look up my birth chart, if you're into astrology, yes, I was born June 26th, 1998 at 10:55 p.m., which is actually, if you convert the 10 into military time, it's, wait, I think it's 22:55. I was born at a synchronistic time, guys. Come on, how much more could you ask for? No, honestly, like that, when I realized that, I was like, oh shoot, that's pretty cool. It feels meaningful to me. It feels like I came here to do something. It was kind of like the earth shook when I was born. No, but it is 22, I think it is 22:55. Let's see. Military time. How do I do this? Hey, Google. What's the military time of 10:55 p.m.?
According to 24 less than B greater than our time less than B greater than.
What?
10:55 in military time is 10:55.
What the hell? Oh. No, but then what about this 10:55 a.m.? Duh, right? 24-hour clock, 10:55 a.m. Yeah, 10:55 a.m. Okay, what about 10? I said 10:55 p.m. Come on. 10:55. Oh my gosh, I can't even type. I know it's freaking 22:55. Maybe not. No, it keeps it. Maybe there is no. That doesn't make sense. It just says 10:55. Military time is 10:55. I know that. Okay, let's go to 24-hour clock conversion. Holy crap. Is there no PM? 22, exactly. Thank you. I'm not freaking crazy. Okay. So 22:55. Look at that, guys. And 626. That number just is powerful to me just because I guess it's my birthday. But every time I see that number, I'm like, oh shoot, 626. You're probably the same with your birthday, but. So I guess we all have like our own little things. But anyways, yes, I'm gonna be 23. And it's so odd. If you guys follow my work and the things that I've been doing for a few years now, you'll know that when I turned 21 2 years ago, I released a poetry collection called 21 and Not Even Close. Now, you can find this poetry collection in your Amazon Kindle store. It is an ebook now at the moment. I had it for free on my Wattpad originally. It may still be on there if you want to check my Wattpad, which is The Writings of Natalia, but I think I took it down because I published it as an ebook. And it's on Amazon that you can purchase. It's only like $2. But it's a poetry collection with, I don't know how many poems is in it, but it's mainly me talking about how I was turning 21. At the time I turned 21, I had just met my boyfriend. And I had just moved to LA maybe about a year before that. And I didn't know anybody that entire year. I was mostly working because I had to freaking survive. I moved out here with like little to no money at all. And I needed to make money. What the heck is this? Oh, I wonder if it'll turn into music. We'll see. And, alright, well anyways, I'll change it anyways. Yeah, so I was mainly working like 24/7 to survive. And then once I hit about a year, I think I made so much money that I ended up just hanging out with it at that point. And then I met my boyfriend, and then I actually had somebody to talk to, and I gained friends. But at that point, I was making some friends with my job, like with people at my job, not with my actual job. And where was I going with that? But anyways, yeah, so, but at that point, I was at the point in my spiritual journey where I wasn't sure what to do at that point. I had just broken up with my ex. I was now living alone, and I just got my own apartment downtown, and I felt like I was supposed to be where I was, but I wasn't. Mainly because I had this idea, or in my head, that I should be traveling, and having my own apartment just felt very stagnant to me. Like, oh my gosh, I have to like live here now, I have to pay bills, like what if I get stuck here forever? I'm never gonna be able to travel. And it felt like it put a halt. This is all like false conceptions that I was false ideas that I was telling myself. This was like a false story. And that by not traveling, I was putting a halt on my spiritual growth, I guess. And it just felt all very stagnant to me, and I felt kind of perplexed because I wanted to be traveling and learning and expanding my consciousness, but I'm living in LA, and I kind of felt like I was in a little materialistic thing in my life, and I kind of wasn't, but it felt like it at the time. And yeah, I don't know. So that poetry collection was about me turning 21 and how I couldn't really relate to anybody because I have this goal of life to attain self-realization, enlightenment, to be a wise sage. And how can I relate to anybody at the age of 21, of people like other 21-year-olds who just want to drink and party, and you know, they just turned 20. Like I wanted to party too, but I wasn't really like, I'm not crazy about drinking, or like at the age of 21, like everybody's like, oh, like I'm free now, I can do like whatever. Like it's I don't know. I just can't relate with the average 21-year-old at the time. And I talk about in this poetry collection how can I relate to people? How can I ever gain friends or be a regular 21-year-old when all I want is to attain self-realization? And that's kind of it's a poetry collection full of those struggles, and it's pretty good. I love it. That's why I published it as an ebook, because I think it's really good. And then the following year, when I turned 22 last year, I didn't really feel like that anymore. I actually did an episode. It's called 22 Things I Learned by the Age of 22. And that is season 2. Well, that's actually season 3, episode 1. Let's see. I don't know if I changed seasons on my birthday last year as well. Let's see. Oh, season 2, episode 2. Oh yeah, because there was like 2. Season 2, episode 2, and the title is "It's My Birthday: 22 Things I Learned at the Age of 22." And I was gonna do 23 things this year, like but I was like, I already did things I learned. I could have done 23 things I learned this year. I don't know, but I decided to do this just like nothingness episode, celebration episode, where we just talk about things and we kind of reflect back on this past year. So anyways, yeah, I did that poetry collection, but my point in me telling you this is because last year I didn't feel too much. Like at that point, I was hanging out with a lot of people, and I was very social, and me and my boyfriend were doing a lot of things, and I didn't really feel that loneliness or that urge to attain something at that point. And not that I want to say that I don't feel like that now, because that, again, my point in saying this is that this year, now turning 23, I kind of feel like I've regressed back to that point of 21, where not that I feel like I can't relate to people, but that I want to attain something. And the truth of the matter is, there is nothing to attain. And the reason why I feel like I need to attain something is I think that this past year, with practicing bhakti and learning more of these teachings and just being in my practice, I know that I could be further on the path, but I don't know how. Not that I don't want to say that I don't know how, but I think maybe I put this idea in my head that I need to be further. And I know that I don't need to be further. I know that because I know everything is divine timing, and everywhere, like wherever we are is where we're supposed to be. And I fully know this, but I think maybe I am, how do you say it? I know that I could be doing more. That's the thing. I feel, well, but then again, I don't know. Like, I feel like I could be doing more spiritually, mainly because I don't do my morning sadhana. I have a morning routine somewhat, so that I have some sort of a little bit of consistency, and I know I could get certain things done, like taking my vitamins. If I have a certain routine, it's easier for me to take my vitamins, and to have time to do yoga, and to have time to listen to something at least in the morning, and have enough time to actually start working. So I feel like I could be waking up earlier and fitting a more well-rounded sadhana in the morning. And I think I'm I don't know how to say, like, I'm not ashamed of myself, but I just, like, not disappointed either, but I think that's where that comes from. Like, I could be doing more, or I could be further on my path, because I know I could be doing more in the morning. But I've been working so freaking much, and then I've also launched the Writings of Natalia, so I go to sleep late because I'm doing that sort of work at night, and I think that's just where that comes from. So I think that's maybe why I feel like I've regressed, but I'm more I know now that there is nothing, like, there isn't anything to attain. And that's something I've had to come to terms with, because, I mean, self-realization is a goal, but I know that it's here in the present moment. And when I fully embody that, I know I will attain it, even though it's here now and there's nothing to attain, if that makes sense. So it's not something that I was like, oh, I have to do this to, like, I don't have to travel to attain self-realization. Like, that was, like, probably the most biggest misconception I told myself. I don't think I told myself, like, I need to travel in order to realize self-realization, but where the traveling aspect comes from is that I want to travel and learn from teachers around the world of different practices. So I want to study at a monastery. I want to practice at a Zen temple for some years. I want to practice Kung Fu. Like, I have this whole list of places that I want to do these things, and I want to practice yoga in India, and I want to go to, like, these root teachings to have a better practice within myself, but not only that, but to master these things in order to bring these teachings back to you. That's sort of my thing. And I'm like, I can't do that if I'm not traveling or if I'm not going anywhere, but I'm still learning, I'm still practicing, and I'm still studying teachings and philosophies, and I'm still bringing it back to you. So I don't need to travel to do that, even though I will be. It's just, I don't feel rushed anymore, I think I've realized fully that whatever I say I want to do, I can do now in this present moment. So that's where that comes from. But yeah, I don't think I'm regressing or anything like that. I think if anything, I'm pretty advancing, okay? So from 1 year from now, where was I June last year? Oh, I was pretty disappointed. Not last year, but last year during quarantine COVID. You guys were with me this entire time during this entire lockdown. And I had to leave my apartment in downtown LA, and I had to give it up, and I had to move back into a room because money was short. I couldn't afford my apartment at the time because I didn't have a full-time job. I had lost my job because of COVID, and yeah, I had to give up my apartment. That was a very devastating thing for me because that was my first apartment ever, and it was in the heart of LA, and I felt like I was living the dream, and I only got to experience it for, for a half of year, basically, because I moved in around February of 2018. Was it 2019? I moved in February 2019, and I moved out. Oh, no. It was about a year, because I moved out in about March or April or May. I don't know, something like that, of 2020. And yeah, I had a whole year there. It was really great. My boyfriend was pretty sad that we left the apartment too, but it was pretty devastating because I felt like I was moving back in life. And it's so funny because now that I think about it, there's a quote that says sometimes you have to take a step back to move forward, or like to move 2 steps forward. And I think I may have thought about that quote at the time that I was leaving the apartment. But you know, there was some sort of attachment there, and doubt, maybe a little doubt that, like, oh my gosh, like I probably will never get my own place again, or I don't know, just a bunch of self-limiting beliefs, guys. You know how it is. And like, here I am 1 year later from that, again in my own apartment, in the heart, well, I don't want to say the heart of, I don't want to say the city I'm in because you guys might stalk me. But if you know me, you know where I live. The heart of a basically rich neighborhood in LA. Like, there's mansions around me. I'm surrounded by a bunch of wealthy people. And I think that, I don't want to say I think that. I know that your external reality is a reflection of your internal reality. And I can see that clearly by my thoughts and my environment. And I can see how it has changed drastically. Just because now where I'm living, I have my own place in I feel like I'm freaking rich, guys. And not only do I feel rich on the inside, but it's so funny. The moment I switched how I felt in the inside, and this was literally right when I launched The Writings of Natalia. This was a few months ago, okay? I moved into this apartment a few months ago. Once I decided to put in all my effort, and at the moment, I'm not putting in all my effort to The Writings of Natalia just because we just reopened my day job, my studio job. Like, I work at a yoga studio. We reopened fully, and I've been working so much that I can't put as much energy into my own business just because I've been exalting so much energy into my day job that I just don't have that much. Like, I want to conserve some energy so that I'm not completely worn out, or I like just kill myself. Not kill myself, but like just fatigue myself, or whatever the heck you want to call it. And where was I going with that? Yeah, so the moment I decided to say, I'm going to turn The Writings of Natalia into a multi-billion-dollar business, and that exists in this present moment. I am rich, I am wealthy now. I literally got this apartment. Like, I wasn't even trying to get, like, I just received this apartment. And I feel more rich than ever. I feel like I'm a freaking billionaire, which I am. Well, like, you know what? You guys know what I mean. And you're billionaires too. Exactly. See? Now you understand even more now. So I think living here is just proof that my external reflects my internal, because the moment I decided that I'm rich and wealthy on the inside, it reflected into my external, and I basically live in like this condo in a super rich neighborhood, and I work with super wealthy people, and it's just great. I feel like I'm surrounded by wealth. And hold on, I gotta let my cat out of the drawer. If you can hear her scratching. Hello, you little cutie. Hello, happy birthday. But she's so cute. She loves sleeping in the drawer because she's a little panicky. She has anxiety, so she likes to hide. This is her first time out of the drawer all morning. She's coming up to me to say hi. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Why didn't you come out earlier? Usually when I wake up to do the podcast, she's so hyper, as you guys know. So I was playing with that little racetrack thingy. So yeah, anyways, I think I've come really far since I've moved out to California. I think I've come really far since I turned 22 in a whole year. In a whole year, what did I accomplish? I relaunched my business, and that was fairly recent. Since I was 22, yeah, actually, I've become the manager of a yoga studio, because I was working at the yoga studio last year when I turned 22, but I wasn't the manager yet. And I have my own apartment again. What else? I've paid for a lot of my cat's vet bills. That's an accomplishment. What else? I think, and I've learned so much since then. I think that a lot of things that I thought I knew back then, I have a better idea of. I've had more experiences. I've healed a lot of things since. I've created a lot of things since. I've expressed myself a lot since. And yeah, we are constantly growing and changing and trying our best. And I'm proud of myself this past year, even though there has been so many ups and downs. I think I'm not regretful of anything, and I'm excited for the freaking next year. I mean, next year, I can't even imagine saying next year I'm gonna be 24. That sounds 24. That sounds old to me. Honestly, guys, I don't want to grow up. If I could stay this age forever, I would. And I just want to stop growing now. I feel like, I don't want to say this is my peak, because I'm pretty sure this is not my peak, but I don't want to age after this. After this age, I feel like I'm old already. 24, 25, 26, don't give me any of those ages. Well, no, okay, I don't want to die either. I feel like if I say that, the universe is like, you want to stay that age forever? And I don't want to go through that again. Well, obviously I have to go through death again. Hopefully not again, like I'll come back here, but I don't know, who knows, maybe my perception of that will change. But yeah, I don't even know. I'm excited, guys. I'm excited for this next year. I'm excited for 23 to see what it brings. I'm excited to see what I learn and to what I teach you guys. And I'm excited to meet some of you maybe this year, to talk more with you, and to share my journey and my art with you more. And yeah, it's been a great ride. So that's pretty much it. And yeah, I'm gonna get to my day and converting this episode and sending it out to you guys. And yes, this has been another episode of ThirdEyeCyphs. I hope I didn't ramble this whole time. Well, I kind of did, because there was no little theme. I mean, the theme was celebrating this past year and reflecting. And yeah, at first, honestly, I was reluctant to believe my birthday was coming up. I felt like this past year went by so fast, and I didn't want to believe it was my birthday coming up, because that meant turning another year older. And I felt that little sense of urgency that doesn't exist. There's no place for me to be but here. And I just have to accept that. So yes, it's been great. I look forward to this next year, and I'm just repeating myself at this point. But yeah, that's what I was saying. I was reluctant to believe that it was my birthday coming up, and I didn't want to admit that my birthday was coming up. And I wasn't really excited for my birthday either. Usually I'm really excited, and this year I was just like, wow, it's my birthday again. But I think I'm more willing to accept now that Haku's joining us. Hi, Haku. I'm more willing to accept the fact now. And I'm really excited for tomorrow to do things. And it's Haku's birthday too. Happy birthday, Haku. Haku turns 3. Happy birthday. Her birthday's tomorrow too. We share the same birthday. Well, she was born I don't want to say a little before me, but I think maybe a week or 2 before my birthday. So I think her birthday passed like 2 weeks ago. But we celebrate our birthday on the same day, because that's when I got her. I got her exactly on my birthday, and she was a little baby. And yeah, happy birthday, Haku. You're 3 years old now. You're so big. We've been together 3 years. She's been my little partner. She's been my little expensive partner. I've been spending so much money on you. Now she's all purring. So yes, say happy birthday to Haku. She is the birthday princess, and I am the birthday queen. And thank you guys for celebrating this. Let's play a happy birthday song before we end. We're playing, what is this, Chinese music? It is. It's by Liu Fang. Can we do like a kitty cat birthday? Cat birthday song. Let's see. There's a cat licking your birthday cake, 1 hour version. A 1 hour version. What about cats singing happy birthday? Let's try it. Okay. Alright, relax. There's like so many like subscribe things in the beginning. Subscribe. This is ridiculous. Yes. Happy birthday, Haku. This is ridiculous. This is what we're doing. This is what the podcast has come to, guys. Happy birthday, Haku. Little purry Haku. So happy. Okay, that was it. Happy birthday to us. Happy 23 to me. Happy 3 to Haku. And happy Season 4 to ThirdEyeCyphs. Thank you for joining me for another episode. I hope that you continue to support me. Again, please leave a review in your podcast store or section or wherever you listen to this podcast, and you can leave a review. It helps people listen to this and find me and the work that I do, and it just supports the things that I do. So I really appreciate you supporting me forever to this point. And again, feel free to DM me anytime. My Instagram is Natalia of Earth. If you want to support my business and my brand, that Instagram is The Writings of Natalia, which you can find in my personal bio. And yeah, check out thewritingsofnatalia.com. You can find all my writing there, all my art there, videos, photos, audiobooks. You can book sessions with me. And yeah, it's a really cool website. So please check it out. And oh, you could also, if you guys want to send me a birthday gift, and so I saw somebody give their Cash App on their birthday. If you guys want to send me birthday gifts, that would be so cool. I have Cash App, guys, and I'm gonna go out for my birthday, so I will thank you for this because I'm gonna use it to celebrate my birthday. So my Cash App is, what is it? Let's see. Haku's Mommy. So that's HAKUSMOMMY. Haku's Mommy. And that's my Cash App. If you guys have Venmo, I think that's also, I don't want to say that too. Oh, she fell off me. Oh, poor Haku. If you guys would like to Venmo me some birthday gifts, my Venmo is, oh my gosh, it's so old. Nathylee Yes Me. So that's NATYLEEYESME. Nathylee Yes Me. That's like my original username on practically everything. So yeah, if you guys want to send me a little cash gift, that'd be awesome. I'd love you forever, honestly. But anyways, you could just support the podcast, share it with your friends, give it a rating, listen to podcast episodes on my birthday to celebrate it, and check out my stuff. And yeah, I love you. Thank you, as always, for listening. And we will talk next week. Peace.
Hari Om. This episode has been brought to you by the writings of Natalia.com. Jai Ma.